What brings you here to Richmond today for the Tea Party?
Well, I come to Richmond to, first of all, share my journey of what I call from dictatorship to democracy, and to share with people the story of the American dream that I had always been raised with. You know, a country that is based on individual initiative, that you're as good as hard as you work, and that no one is in charge of your success but yourself. And of course, as I got to the United States and experienced a college career and a military background, and now as I go into the world of teaching and what they call the real world, I discover that I work so hard, earning close to minimum wage, so that I can provide for the free lunches and breakfasts of others who don't necessarily want to work as hard or have just used the system in such a way that, to me, is not America. And so I come here to share my story and shed the light on the America that I came to and the America that the rest of the world looks up to.
You said at the Republican convention recently that becoming an American citizen was probably the proudest moment of your life. Was it?
There is no doubt about that. You know, being a man without a country, a man with no affiliation, a sense of belonging was probably one of the most difficult things that I had to grow up with. And you know, when you don't know that you don't know, which is you know, the case for the majority of liberals, you come here and you realize that this is the greatest nation that mankind has ever known, historically and currently, and will always be. And it's just so sad to see the diversion from the path of what our founding fathers had envisioned.
Where are you teaching, and how long have you been doing it, and what are you teaching?
I'm going to be teaching in Marianna, Arkansas, which is a very small town of about 12,000 people. The average income is $10,000. When I first decided to join Teach for America, which is a national teachers corps that places recent college graduates in low-income communities, I joined because I believe that we do have an injustice. The injustice begins with the fact that we have 13 million children growing up in poor communities that in 8th grade read at a 4th grade level. Only 50% of them graduate from high school, and only 10% who make it to college graduate from college. And in a nation where education is supposed to be a right rather than a privilege, there is obviously something going wrong there. I didn't have a grasp of the issue until I began my training. I was training in Houston, Texas. I had to teach a 5th grade science class. I had 16 students who were at risk of being retained. The class average on the first assessment I administered was 37%. That was startling to me, and I just questioned my decision as to how will I be able to put those students on the path to success. The two principles that were in my classroom and on the walls said, number one, in this classroom you are the author of your own future. If you work hard enough you will succeed, if not you will fail. Principle number two, I as the teacher am here to provide for you only those things that you cannot perform for yourselves. And the chant that became very quickly endorsed by every single one of those 5th graders said, we in 5th grade going to 6th grade understand that nothing in this world that is worthy of pursuing is easy. Because what comes easy, they would respond, goes easy. And we also know that leaders are just like diamonds. They are formed under hard and difficult and stressful conditions, because what doesn't kill you, they would respond, makes you stronger. And we also know that the only person who can discredit you and the only person who can stop you from accomplishing your dreams is yourself. Because if there is a will, they would respond, there's always a way. And what started as a 37% class average ended as a 97%. Every single one of those students was going to 6th grade. And I tell people that's not a miracle. That is empowerment. That is what our founding fathers envisioned for our country. Individual responsibility. You are as good as you make out of yourself. If you work hard enough, you will achieve, and if you don't, you will not.
Do you miss anything about Kuwait?
I miss, of course, my family, which is a fundamental foundation in my upbringing. But other than that, I have no relation back there besides memories that are fading away as I start to live the American dream.
I read on your website, was it your mother came over for the ceremonies?
Yes,
and your brother?
All my family came over for graduation, which was a wonderful feeling to be with them. And you know, as much as I would love for them to come to the United States and live here, I understand that they are grounded and rooted in that culture. And so, you know, I'm just hoping that I would be able to provide for my kids the opportunities of pursuit of happiness that are perhaps not provided to many people around the world.
I know you're very young still, but do you ever envisage running for Congress or any elected office?
Absolutely. Well, you know, after my 2-year commitment with Teach for America, I plan to come back for law school and hopefully a political career. And you know, it's so disheartening and so disappointing when you see that the principle and the foundation is there. We were at the home of the founder or the author of the Constitution, James Madison, yesterday. And you know, and I was reading and listening to his story. We have people who sacrificed and died and believed in us before we believed in ourselves and put it all out there for us. We know exactly what we need to do to succeed as a nation. Yet, because of the cancer of political correctness, we have deviated from that ultimate path.
Do you believe that immigration is a problem? Illegal immigration, should I say?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because what illegal immigration does is it takes the jobs from those who are willing, or maybe not always willing to work, but those who deserve that job in the first place for the wage that they deserve. I mean, the majority of the students that I taught were illegal immigrants. Who's paying for that? The taxpayer. Who's paying for their breakfasts and lunches? The taxpayer. And you know, when I asked those children, because I was so curious, I've never heard of the notion of free breakfasts and free lunches, and I've lived all around the world, and they have no idea why they get free lunches and free. It's just an expectation. It's almost like, well, the government is going to take care of me, you know? And so it's so sad. No wonder, you know, I thought to myself that the poor keep getting poorer because there is no one to show them empowerment and independence and self-reliance rather than depending on a failing welfare system.
So if you're going to run for office, you need a wife. Are you single?
I am single, yes. And, you know, as I continue to discover myself and the greatness of this country, I think I'm going to be single for a while.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. Just a couple of questions to round you out, so to speak. How often do you exercise and what do you do to exercise? Excellent.
Well, of course, in the Corps of Cadets, I exercise on a daily basis. We started at about 5 to 5:30 in the morning, and it was just a great routine to get into. As I transition, you can see I gained a little bit more weight, of course, but I love exercising. Running is my favorite thing, although it was something that I just hated when I came here because I didn't know how to run. But I just usually like to exercise right at sunset.
Excellent. What is the most inspirational book you have read and why?
The most inspirational book that I read was the biography of George Washington. You know, a man who was offered kingship. That's the summary. Offered kingship. He could have been a dictator, and we could have been a dictatorship. Yet his leadership and his vision was on what this nation is ought to be, and so that I and you and everyone else can live the American dream.
Well, Adnan, thank you very much.
Thank you,
I look
Karyn.
forward to your speaking this afternoon.
Absolutely, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.